Welcome to Step into Abundance 360 podcast. I'm your host, Sophia Au, DTM. Step into Abundance 360 podcast is a bilingual radio program in which focuses on creating a more abundant mindset with the sense of possibilities and security, and to live is abundant fullness of joy and strength for your mind, body, and soul. In this podcast, I will be interviewing the entrepreneurs, professionals, and elite from all walks of life in our community. And we can all learn and get inspired from them. Eventually, we can take things to the next level and push the success and abundance of your business and lifestyle even further. And now, let's get started. Hi everyone, welcome to Step into Abundance 360 podcast. As entrepreneurs, we look forward to have funding and investor for our business. So this time we are excited to have Nicole Denholder, who is the founder and CEO of Next Chapter, which is a funding portal, especially for female entrepreneurs and women-owned business in Asia, and help women to get funding. Hi, welcome Nicole to the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to be on.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm Nicole Denholder and I'm the founder of Next Chapter, and that covers two businesses. We have a rewards-based crowdfunding platform called nextchaptercrowdfunding.com, and we have a membership program for female founders interested in revenue growth and funding sources called nextchapterraise.com. And I launched those over the past few years. We're based here in Hong Kong, but we cover all of Greater Asia and into Australia, and certainly even have some members out of the UK.
Wow, excellent. So why does it called Next Chapter? Why only women? We are very interested to know more about the business.
Well, why Next Chapter actually reflects some of my own experiences and for myself, but it's all around what is your next chapter in terms of your life, what you're looking to achieve. And certainly even from a business perspective, you continually have next chapters and funding can be a really important part of that. So that's how we came up with that name. Why only women? Next Chapter, the whole goal is around bringing female founders and savvy investors together. And I've supported and mentored female founders for many years. And more often than not, the missing link to their success is funding. Funding's any outside capital injected into a business, from crowdfunding to angel investment to revenue-based financing, lending, and equity investment. It's a really, really broad area. And it's really one of the most effective ways to grow your company, help you hire more staff, reach more markets. But we often hear, where do we begin? What's the right funding option for me and my business, and what stage we're in? And that's why I started Next Chapter Raise. The community and the resources we offer and the connections is really to inspire, educate, connect female founders with savvy investors, and to do it in a really safe and supportive space.
That sounds awesome. Like you have a platform for the women entrepreneur in Asia. We can support each other and get the funding from investor. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. What is the value and missions of this company and business?
There's a lot of issues around funding support for women. Only 2% of VC capital, went to all female funding teams. Roughly around 7% of venture capital partners are women. Women start with 50% less capital than men. And, there's an opportunity to be involved in making change here. And that's really part of Next Chapter and my own personal journey is how do we actually help move the needle and work with female founders, male investors, female investors, the ecosystem to, work towards improving that situation. And to me, there's an opportunity here to be, really positive around understanding what the situation is and what are some of the options we can take forward. And really, Next Chapter Raise is built around the premise of that because the solutions are around connecting female founders to all types of funding opportunities and helping them with that, which is what we do. We have a live funding calendar in our membership community where we're continually listing all of the opportunities on funding across Asia and wider so that we're, saving time and effort for women by providing those opportunities. And we've already seen some successes from that. We're also providing education. We have training courses, we have masterclasses, really to help build confidence and knowledge around all the different areas that come into play in your business, particularly when you're looking at growth. And obviously, many women are sole founders. So having a network and other women to talk to, also female founders who are ahead of you, who've been there, done that, to investors, both male and female, who give you tips and insights, all of that is really part of our mission in terms of, contributing to some change in this area.
Excellent. So it is kind of building a network for all the women. They can get the educations, they can get the network, they can get the support from each other, and they can have a good journey on their own business. So well done. I've known that before creating your own business, I know that you are the director of PwC. I would like to ask, how has this working in corporate world has helped you to find your own business?
Well, I really enjoy my time working at PricewaterhouseCoopers. Yeah. I was very fortunate to work with some great people, both at PwC and with our clients in many locations. And I, through the work we did, got to work in a number of different countries. From that perspective, very positive. And also PwC as a company really does support and help you grow through different stages of, the time that you spend there. So there was quite a lot of skills and understandings that I, would hope that I've brought to the entrepreneurship space. Certainly I'd worked in a group that focused on supporting our clients when they were looking to do US IPO. So I was really interested in the whole regulatory space that comes into play when you look at funding. And it's through some of those discussions and through some of the work that I did that I recognized, maybe we need to see more women in this space, leading companies and female CEO and role models we can have. That's a positive thing for everyone. So certainly that contributed to me making some decisions around where Next Chapter would go. One of the things that I would hope that I would bring to many of the women that we work with is some of that understanding around the regulations and some of the expectations around what your business were doing as you're going through various kind of business steps.
I can see that there are more women taking up the leadership role. Like I understand that women are more understandable when it comes to conflicts or comes to leadership. So we are very happy to see more and more female entrepreneurs taking this role. So well done. How does the crowdfunding work? Like, can everyone apply for it, or are there any requirement when we apply for the funding procedures?
So for crowdfunding, our platform provides rewards-based crowdfunding. So there's actually 3 types of crowdfunding. There's rewards-based, or there's 4: donation-based, rewards-based, peer-to-peer lending, and equity crowdfunding. And so we focus on rewards-based, and we particularly focus on female founders and supporting them in their, their business journey as they're starting off. And the premise behind rewards-based crowdfunding is that you have a product that you're looking to launch, or, some form of service. And what you're looking to do is, through a crowdfunding platform like Next Chapter Raise, you're putting the details around your product on the platform. And then the crowd, people are coming in, and through their backing of you by buying your product or buying some form of reward that you offer, you raise sufficient funds to go out and manufacture that product. So it's very much like pre-selling or pre-tailing, because you're using crowdfunding to raise the funds from your potential customers before you actually go and produce the product. And I think that's very, very good for many female founders, because it does lower the risk around the amount of capital you need to invest, because you are able to go out and test that idea in terms of your target audience and marketing around it and getting feedback on it before you've actually gone down and produced a huge amount of products that you may possibly be unable to sell. And I think that's also really positive from an environmental perspective, because that means that you're actually ultimately starting out in a way that is what's needed versus overproducing and possibly having a lot of waste. So I think there's a lot of benefits from crowdfunding. So it helps you actually fundraise. So if you're successful, you will receive those funds and produce your product. It helps you get feedback and clarify your marketing messages, your product, obtain feedback around things you can improve, both during the crowdfunding campaign and on delivery, because you've now got first customers who can give you feedback. A really good way to just kick off your business journey and really do it in a way that it's quite quick, the process, in terms of you spend a couple of months preparing and then you spend 4 to 6 weeks actually running your crowdfunding campaign. And that's a really nice way to just get your business moving.
Yeah, exactly. Because I study in marketing. In my understanding, it is like a pre-market testing. Like yes. It is a platform, you put your ideas and your product into that and see how the audience, how the people react to your product. Once they like it, it is popular and you get the funding for manufacturing.
Yes. And I think that's a really good point to make around the marketing, because what crowdfunding does is it very quickly makes you understand the importance of marketing, the importance of understanding who your target audience is, where they live online, because crowdfunding is very much a digital exercise. So, you're looking at, it's very much similar to an e-commerce concept. It's making you really think about the messaging you want to give to them, your sales element to actually actually encourage them to convert and, be interested in your product. It very much helps you not only develop a product, but it teaches you, do you know who your target audience is? Do you know how to market to them? And actually, if you fail, that's not a bad thing because you've learned a lot and it gives you the opportunity to go and enhance, some of the issues you've identified and come back stronger. So I think people should look at crowdfunding in a really positive way.
Yeah, it is a new market and new industry as well. I know that like US market, it is quite popular. How is the market in Hong Kong and in Asia?
I think it's definitely improved over the years. I mean, Asia has some phenomenal aspects in terms of cash on delivery, things arriving the next day.
Yeah.
There's a lot of speed here. And, crowdfunding is about you invest or you purchase something on a rewards-based through a product on a rewards-based platform. And then that campaign has to close. Then the product has to be made and then it needs to be given to you. Obviously, the time frame is very, very different. And so that, I think, the understanding of that has increased over the past few years. I think early on, part of a crowdfunding campaign was actually educating your target audience around what crowdfunding was and then trying to educate around your product. I think that has changed a little bit, which is really positive. And so you're seeing, greater use of crowdfunding.
Yeah, exactly. If people, they are looking for to do crowdfunding for their business and their product, any tips for them, like what to say or how to market the product, how to do the marketing? Do you have any advice for them?
Well, I think the key thing when you're marketing on crowdfunding is that crowdfunding is around building trust and legitimacy with the audience or your future customers. And really what crowdfunding often does is, people have to take a risk on you because they're paying in advance and they're waiting for a product. And it's shown that, there's an element of early adopters as customers. The people that typically or historically have used crowdfunding are people that are looking for, they're interested in, oh, this is innovative or this is new. And they're willing to go with the risk because they want to be first to try something, first to see something. And then secondly, you've got a lot of friends and family that want to support people. So when you're doing your targeting around your marketing, it is really, engaging obviously with your own network. And then secondly, really understanding where would the early adopters and those that would be interested in your product live. You don't really want crowdfunding to be an educational aspect. You don't want to be teaching them about your product. You want people who look at it and go, yes, I want that. Because campaigns are very short and you're trying to fundraise in a short time frame. Being very targeted is quite critical.
So finding the right target customer and find the resources around you.
Correct.
Build up the trust and legitimacy. Wonderful. Do you have 3 mistakes to avoid when we scale up the business? Like in your experience, you have with many cases before. Have you spotted any mistake that people should avoid before they do the crowdfunding?
In terms of running a crowdfunding campaign is not doing enough planning in terms of preparing for the campaign, not being very clear on who your target market is and making the assumption that once I launch, everyone will come here and support me. And that just isn't the case. So building a very strong daily and effective marketing plan is quite important.
So it is about marketing, understanding product and understanding the market.
And nurturing those that you think would be interested in what you're doing. We always want to be nurturing and engaging with people that are supportive.
I know that you have found and started up this next chapter business for a couple of years, right? What is your achievement so far?
Well, I think I'm very proud of meeting so many wonderful female founders and actually many people in the ecosystem, male and female. Moving into this space has given me the opportunity to engage with and get to know many fantastic people. So that's been really awesome. I think moving on from crowdfunding, last year we launched Next Chapter Raise, which is our membership community for female founders. We've had some really fantastic success and feedback over the past few months since that's launched. We've had, one of our members get shortlisted for the Cardio Women's Initiative. We've had 3 members enter the Founders Institute. We had 1 member win an AmCham Startup Series prize and event. The feedback from all of them was we didn't even know these, events or competitions or programs existed, but being members and working with you and seeing your live funding calendar, getting the prep through our masterclasses, chatting on our community calls, we've been able to learn things that we wouldn't have learn about events we didn't know about and actually be prepared. That's been, from a business perspective, really positive.
I hear that your business and you guys are quickly adapt to the trend, because of COVID, everything has moved online. So you have a digital platform for your own business. So well done. I'm very happy to see and hear about the great achievement. The next question is, what is your next plan after the next chapter raised?
Well, our goal would be really over the next few years to build out these programs that we run. So in March, we're launching a second membership program that's very much focused on supporting female founders who are actively fundraising. So we're going to be supporting them with education and other events because they're, if they're actively fundraising through 21 and 2022, and certainly providing that environment where women are, learning about funding, accessing capital. That would be our goal, is to actually make an impact on some of those numbers we talked about earlier.
Awesome. So do you have any struggle when you build up and you starting your own business? Because what we hear is positive news, right? Have you ever encountered some struggle or some challenge, and how did you overcome it?
Absolutely. I think all businesses have struggles continually. I don't think at any size of a business you would not. I do think that one of the struggles that I had as a business was, working with external contractors, and really how do you research and identify someone that's right for your business. So when you make that decision to invest in someone to work with you, that it turns out to be the right decision and you don't end up spending a lot of money and time that may not actually help you. And that certainly did happen to me early on. And what I learned from that, to probably be a little bit more diligent and be a little bit more focused on researching around some people that I worked with externally, maybe doing more trial programs or testing someone out versus going maybe a little bit too far down the road and then you're in a position you can't walk back from. So I would say I learned a lot from that experience.
It is really about finding right people to work with.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So what is one thing that you wish you have known when you begin your journey?
I'm not entirely sure. I think everything would be nice to know. I think there's a lot I wish I knew. That's part of the journey, right? That's part of learning and improving. And actually that's helped me. I think sometimes not knowing some things and learning them for myself has been helpful as we've rolled out different products and different services. And also we've gotten to know our target audience very well. And so I think if you don't take the time to go out and spend time with them, do some research around that and understand really what the problem is and what the need is as well, it's hard to move forward. So we've certainly spent time on that.
In this entrepreneur journey, we learn a lot and we discover something new, and we can move on and influence people around us. The last question we would like to ask is, if our audience would like to find you online, so how can they reach to you?
Our service offering would be to go to www.nextchapterraise.com. But also you can drop me an email at contact@nextchapter.com.hk. So both of those methods would be great. And, please reach out. If you are on our website, you can use the contact us button as well, and certainly drop us an email if you've got any questions.
For all female entrepreneurs, if you'd like to know more how to raise funds and get access to funding, so please contact Nicole by the website or the email. So thank you so much for joining us, Nicole. We are very happy to learn from you and learn about your own journey. Thank you for listening to this week's episode, and I hope you enjoyed it. And remember, keep learning and live in abundance. I will see you next time.